What's going on guys, Aero here and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the recent Nintendo investors meeting that just happened a couple days ago, as there's a lot of interesting information that's come out of it and I feel like I should give you guys my thoughts and kind of talk about it because it is really cool. So a couple days ago, Nintendo had their investors meeting where they talked to investors about like their video game sales and their console sales and just kind of how everything is going for Nintendo and kind of giving an outlook for the future about what their potential games are going to be like, what they're working on, and sharing some more information about potentially what Nintendo could be planning for in the future. And the investors meeting that happened this year is actually very interesting because it kind of gives you an idea of how the Nintendo president is viewing the Nintendo Switch and potentially what even the next Nintendo system could be like. Now real quick before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. Yes, you've heard them everywhere and there's a reason for that. Raid has taken over and set the bar high as being the first game to bring a full console level experience right to your phone. There's millions of champion combinations and strategy as you take on bosses, dungeons, the campaign, and even PvP. There's a lot of cool champions that you can unlock. My favorite is Astrolon. He's got red wings and dual swords and looks amazing and even has a skill to ignore enemy debuffs. Then there's also Drexstar, who looks so sick with all this fire, and he comes with an ability that can apply HP burn when attacked. There's a lot happening with Raid this month, including the brutal Hydra boss, lots of events and tournaments, and even Valentine's Day events to get your very own brand new legendary champion. It's an amazing time to start your Raid Shadow Legends journey. Be sure to scan the QR code on screen right here or click the link in the description. New players who use my links can actually get free resources and even a free legendary champion, so definitely be sure to check it out and see who you get. And thank you so much again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Alright, so the first thing that we have here is some sales information from the Nintendo investors meeting. So if we take a look right here, the Nintendo Switch has now sold 103 million units, which is just insane. I mean, we can see right here the 3DS only sold 75 million, and the crazy thing is the Wii was extremely popular, and if we look down here, it sold 101 million, so the Nintendo Switch has officially now outsold the entire Wii, which is just crazy because so many people had a Wii. Like, I remember like every single friend in the neighborhood had a Wii back in the day, and it's kind of crazy that the Switch has outsold that, and it's kind of easy to believe. I mean, a lot of my friends have Nintendo Switches. I'm sure a lot of people that you guys know have Nintendo Switches as well. I always see people with them, so it is kind of crazy. It still isn't the most popular system that Nintendo has ever made. That still is the Nintendo DS right here, which is at 154 million, but I do think that it's possible. I mean, if we take a look down here, the Game Boy is at 118 million, so I feel like if they can pass 154 million with the Switch, which if we take a look later, you guys might see that that actually does have the possibility of happening with how the Nintendo president is talking, then it looks like the Nintendo Switch may actually become Nintendo's most powerful and popular best-selling Nintendo system of all time. Now we've also got some information here about some sales with video games, and so if we take a look right here, of course Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is once again killing it with 43 million sales. It's just insane how much this game keeps selling. Like, I don't know why, like, I mean, I feel like that this game is kind of old at this point. Like, even if you got like the deluxe version in 2017, that game is still half a decade old at this point now, which is kind of crazy that so many people are still buying it. But then we've got Animal Crossing right below it at 37 million. I'd imagine with like the DLC for Animal Crossing and stuff coming out as well, that's probably getting a lot more people to buy the game. Smash Ultimate down here at 27 million. We got Breath of the Wild close to 26 million. Pokemon Sword and Shield at 23 million. Super Mario Odyssey at 23 million. Super Mario Party. We got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And then the really crazy one, we got Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl here at close to 14 million copies. And the insane thing is this game came out literally a couple months ago. So in the span, I think it came out, what, November of 2021? So in the span of a few months, because this sales data comes from just December 31st of 2021. So in the span of literally just like a month or so, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are about to be outsold by Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like the entirety of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which have been out for 3 years now. It's kind of just insane to think about. And then we've got like Ring Fit Adventure here at 13 million as well. So it's crazy. These are the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games at the moment. And it's just insane how fast Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl managed to get there. And I mean, it looks like Pokemon Legends Arceus also does have the potential as well. Nintendo did put out a tweet saying that Pokemon Legends Arceus actually sold 6,500,000 units within like a week of releasing, so it's definitely on its way to becoming one of the best-selling Nintendo Switch games, so I do think that it has that potential as well. Alright, so the next interesting thing that we have here from this Nintendo investors meeting is a quote from the official Nintendo president, Mr. Shuntaro Furukawa, and when talking about the Nintendo Switch at the meeting, he said here, Switch is just in the middle of its life cycle and the momentum going into this year is good. The Switch is ready to break a pattern of our past consoles that saw momentum weakening in their 6th year on the market and grow further. So from the looks of it, it looks like that Mr. Shuntaro Furukawa still thinks that the Nintendo Switch is in the middle of its life cycle, and I mean the system has been out for half a decade now. I mean the system came out in 2017, we're now in 2022, the Switch is about to be 5 years old literally next month on March 3rd, so it's kind of crazy that the Switch has been out for so long and they're still considering this to be like a mid-life cycle. Like usually like video game systems in general last for around 6 to 7 years. If this is still considered to be like a mid-life cycle, then we could expect the Nintendo Switch to be lasting for a really long time. Like this system could very well be taking us into like 2026 even, like 2025 around then, and that's kind of crazy to think about. I mean we already are kind of seeing a lot of third parties not start to put their games anymore on the Switch because the power just isn't there for a lot of third parties. Of course I'm sure Nintendo is still going to manage to put out a lot of great games for the Nintendo Switch, and I mean if Nintendo's games are there, people are still going to be buying Switches for sure because you buy them for Nintendo's first party games. But the thing is there are third party games that would really benefit from being on the Switch, and right now the Switch's power just isn't the best, especially with all those third parties moving on to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So I do hope that maybe now there could potentially be like a more powerful Switch that could be coming out later, especially if the Switch is going to be trying to last for this long. And finally, the last thing that we have here is a question from the Q&A section, where at the end of all these meetings, Nintendo does have a Q&A where investors can directly ask them questions and they'll answer. And one of the questions that was actually very interesting was, how do you think about the 98 million versus the next console? And the answer that was given was, into the 6th year of the Switch, we are maintaining momentum. We're looking at how to expand and grow this 100 million users leading into the next gen device. So they even put here in parentheses, sounds like the next gen device will be backwards compatible. So that's actually really cool because it seems like that they are kind of still thinking about the next gen device in terms of Nintendo, and I'm sure they are. I mean, even though he just said that Nintendo Switch is still in the middle of its life cycle, they're definitely kind of starting to plan a little bit about what the next system could be like, what potentially they could do. So I'm sure that they are working on that, but it's kind of cool how they are talking about how they really want to bring over this large audience from the Nintendo Switch with its 100 million users leading into the next gen device, which basically implies that it could potentially be backwards compatible. And I really hope that if that is the case, like I think that would be so cool. Nintendo systems have pretty much always been backwards compatible for a pretty long time. I mean, the 3DS can play DS games, the Wii could play GameCube games, the Wii U could play Wii games, so it would be really awesome. I mean, obviously with the Switch you can't really put like a Wii U disc into it, so it would be very hard to do that. But if the next gen Nintendo system is still going to be using cartridges and you can still put in Nintendo Switch cartridges even though it's the next gen system, I think that would be really amazing. And especially having like this insane library of Nintendo Switch games, bringing that over to the next gen device would be awesome. And so yeah, there you go guys, that's all the information from this Nintendo investors meeting. If you guys enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know how you guys feel about this. How do you guys feel about some of these things with like the video game sales, potentially the Nintendo Switch still being in the middle of its life cycle and lasting for a good couple more years, and the next gen system potentially even having backwards compatibility? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Nintendo content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.